Animals of the real world are not enough. There are a bunch of fictional animals that should be real.
Let's talk about that.
Good Mythical Morning.
Some of you may have noticed that the episodes in season 4 of Good Mythical Morning are a little bit shorter. That's so they can be a little bit more shareable. And it also gives us the opportunity to introduce to you the show after the show, Good Mythical More.
So if you want more at the end of this episode, click through to watch Good Mythical More. That's 3 to 5 minutes, maybe more of unadulterated us. But right now, we need to talk about fictional characters that should be real.
Okay.
If they're pets.
Yeah.
Yes, not just characters.
Well, I don't have any
Pets.
pets, and the reason I don't have pets is because real world animals are not appealing to me.
I have a fish, Professor, the professor who was here,
You took him home.
is now at my house.
You feed him?
Lincoln feeds him.
Good.
It's Lincoln's pet.
Okay. We asked you to suggest which fictional pets should be real pets on Twitter. We compiled a list from your suggestions. Here we go. We're going to start off with Hedwig from Harry Potter.
Suggested by Isaiah Cass.
Yes,
On the
Isaiah
Twitter.
Cass. Thank you, Isaiah. This is an owl, of course. This is the snowy owl or the snow owl. He's white. He can deliver your mail. He knows exactly where you are and can find you.
Do you have to be a wizard? Is that part of it? Because I wouldn't want the owl to be expecting me to like be a wizard. I don't want a pet that's expecting me to be something I can't be.
I think he just does. I mean, if he's yours, he does your bidding. But he looks at you with a very judgmental stare because all owls and most birds look with a judgmental look, which you just have to kind of get used to.
Now, he died, but that represented the coming of age for Harry Potter. So I think...
You act like
What?
you know.
Spoiler? Jason Sanchez. Spoiler alert.
He may or may not die.
He may or may not die.
Like
but
any living thing, he may or may not die.
if he does die, it represents
They've all seen all the Harry
the
Potters.
coming of age of Harry Potter.
Who are you?
A good pet always represents the coming of age when he dies. A better pet is one who is eternal. Represented here by Shannon, Rayner, and Emilio. Cabascango? What?
I don't know. Cabo San
Emilio Cabascango. I love your last
Emilio
name.
from
I'm
Cabo
sorry
San
that I
Lucas.
can't say it right. They both said Gizmo from Gremlins, the Mogwai who was the pet to Billy Peltzer.
I mean, I think about Gizmo sometimes and think about how
He's cute.
I would love to cuddle with him. I'm just
I
going
know.
to be
He
completely honest.
sings. He's animatronic, but think about if he was real.
He's not, in real life, he would be a real
Right,
flesh and blood.
He wouldn't feel like a robot.
Yeah.
I would still want him to feel like a
He would
robot.
be warm.
Now, if you put him in water, he will then make other little monsters that you can sell on eBay. I think that's pretty good. And then if you feed those monsters after midnight, they turn into like scaly creatures. And like I said, he is immortal.
That seems like a negative.
The worst thing about a pet is, I know I'm stuck on the whole death thing, but when a pet dies, I want a pet that's gonna outlive me.
Or multiply.
Gizmo, and yeah, both.
Okay, all right, well, I'm moving on to a suggestion from Wendy Elizabeth Nagel. Salem from Sabrina the Teenage Witch. You remember that show?
Vaguely.
Salem was a talking cat.
Hats off to your mother for marrying her brother.
But he was animatronic
He was also
too.
animatronic, but the thing you have to learn, you have to suspend your disbelief for a second, because if he was real, he would be a real talking cat. The whole point is, he's on a show, he's a robot, but we are thinking about what it would be like for him to be a real talking cat in our lives.
But
And
I
think it'd be
still
pretty
want him.
cool.
I still want him. When I touch him and pick him up, I want him to feel animatronic.
I think you need to compile another list.
Clar Jacobs and Megan Michaela Carpenter both suggested Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
This is a movie. I haven't seen this movie. I'm just familiar with it.
You haven't shown your kids this movie?
No, because they're afraid of dragons.
Not the older ones.
Not really. They're not afraid of dragons. I don't know. I'm just not a good parent. Is that what it means to be a good parent? Showing them how to train your dragon?
I mean, showing them popular movies so they can relate to other children.
He is the first. My kids are already so cool. It's not even funny, man.
It's not what I heard.
They're like refrigerator.
It's not what I heard.
He's the first trained dragon and the most intelligent. Let us know in the comments if you agree with these. Obviously, you're going to tell us who we missed. I know how the internet works. The best pets are the ones that you can use to incinerate your friends or enemies.
Or just your enemies. You don't need to incinerate your friends.
Power. You got to assert your power.
Okay, Rebecca Foss suggested Scooby Doo. Now, I like the suggestion a lot because he's a dog that's part of a mystery-solving team that is at the same time ironically scared of everything. He can talk.
He's a fraidy cat. I don't want a pet that's gonna talk to me, but the whole time he's just complaining about how scared he is. And he has a speech impediment. Who wants a pet with a speech impediment?
That's
Raise
pretty
your
good.
hand.
You gotta admit.
That's my point exactly. It's not good. I don't want something in my house making that noise.
That's a,
Hey, where we're gonna go today? We're gonna solve a mystery? Hey, I'm so afraid.
the key is to not go into the full talking, is just to go, ooh. And people are like, oh, you're good at Scooby. I'm like, yeah, but don't make me talk.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna make the noise.
He's annoying. Okay, listen. Here is the one up from that. Claire Steeb and Guillermo Villa. I'm so.
You know what? Just say the first person.
Guillermo and Ed. Lots of people suggested Clifford the big red dog, trump card to Scooby Doo, man's best friend.
Have you thought about how big Clifford's dumps would be if you had to clean those up?
Exactly. Listen.
You would have to get a vehicle for it. I mean, it's one thing to clean up after like a Great Dane and you have to use the bag. You'd have to get like a bulldozer to clean up after this dog. It would be horrible. Everyone in your neighborhood would hate you, but you would be able to fertilize their yards.
Think about it this way. He craps at your front door. You can't open it, so you're like calling into work or school. I can't come into school today because my dog crapped in front of my door.
Okay, Shannon.
That's good.
Shannon Conrad suggested Chewbacca. And Shannon, I'm sorry, but that is very insulting. Chewbacca is like a coworker. He's not a pet.
I mean, just because he has hair all over his body doesn't make him a pet. That's not the definition of a pet.
He would be fun to pet and cuddle with.
If he felt animatronic, then I would say he can make my list. But there's a man in there.
Now we have selected what we think are our favorite fictional pets that should be real.
Okay, now I'm going with Greywind from Game of Thrones. We're talking about the dire wolf. You're shaking your head. You don't know anything about Game of Thrones.
I read the book, man.
Did you?
Yes.
The book?
I read the first book.
There's like 20 books. Or at least
I
8.
got through
How many
you start with the first one.
Rob Stark's dire wolf. I'm going to choose his because, spoiler alert. You can throw spoiler alert up there. Listen, I like a pet. Double spoiler alert.
Oh my gosh!
No!
All right, I'm not going to spoil anything for you.
All right, listen. I just did some spoilers. What you can do is you can just censor all of that in post. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry that you haven't read all the books like
The
I
best
have.
fictional pet that should be real in my book is Falcor from the Neverending Story. It's very simple. He's like a dragon, but he's furry. You can fly around on him. He's not going to accidentally burn you up.
And I don't think he would scare my kids.
No, and he has an incredibly soothing voice.
I wouldn't necessarily say that.
I like children.
I like children.
Boy, that's going to be taken out of context and posted somewhere.
You know what time it is.
I'm Simon from Denmark, and it's time to spin the wheel of mythicality.
All right, going this way today.
You're setting up at a slight angle.
Remember, click through to Good Mythical More after this if you want to see what happens after this is done.
Let's plan a fancy dinner party. Now listen, I'm thinking that we should definitely go with purple tablecloths.
It needs to be fancy. That's definitely purple. I think there needs to be silverware everywhere. Silverware everywhere.
You're adopting a character. Okay, I
am.
I'm just gonna be myself.
Okay, I'm being fancy Link who plans dinner parties. And what do we need to have to serve? What kind of food?
I don't think I want to work with Fancy Link.
Let's have some kind of couscous. Have you heard of this?
Yeah, it's Israeli pasta.
It looks like eggs, but it's a pasta. It's so fancy.
Hey! Listen, I'm right here. And I'm not current. And you just did that to thousands of people, man.